Hey folks, Moose here. Wanted to show you kind of a basic technique of what I've been doing lately with the D4 and some shooting. Give you, if possible, some ideas. So here's a photograph taken in the Badlands on our K&M adventure just recently in South Dakota. And it was raining. You know, it was like kind of misty, wet, just wet stuff. In fact, it was so wet that we couldn't get off. I'm shooting on the blacktop. I didn't dare go off the road. This stuff was so slick. We were afraid we were going to slip down here and have to walk miles out because you just could not get any traction. It was just amazing. So anyway, it's raining. It's overcast. We've got some color issues. We got to finish this photograph. Now the D4 I think does a great job. And here's how I'm going to go and finish this. I'm in ACR 7.1. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and click on my D4 landscape because I'm really liking that landscape tone curve that is in the D4. And that's going to give me my first rough start for the photograph. Now if you don't know how I made these presets, check on the video library. You'll see the 7.1 ACR basics, okay? And that'll get you going. Now we have an overcast, okay? The clouds. A couple ways of doing that. You could sit there and change your color temperature slider here. Or you can go over to what I prefer, the white balance tool. And then I'm just going to click on basically one of these brighter gray areas in here. When I do that, it's going to remove the slight color cast. Okay, you might have to sit there and click a couple times. And believe me, you can click till you like it because really, who's going to know the difference? Alright, that's subtle, but that's a little change I like. Now, one thing about the Badlands and when it's raining is that all these colors you see in here, okay, are all disappeared. They're not there. They're all kind of the same color you see on the top here. The rains bring them out, which is one reason why I was really excited to be there. Now these colors, color cast, they're still a little muted. I'm going to come over here to the HSL grayscale, the luminance panel. I'm going to take my reds and my oranges and yellows because they're all out in there. I'm going to bring those, make them brighter. I'm going to take my greens, I'm going to make them darker. Then I'm going to take my, there's some purples, magentas in there. And this is going to make subtle changes, but watch the before and the after. Subtle changes in this band of color going around the edge. That's what I wanted. Because now I'm going to, sit there and do last finishing touch. The sky, okay, it's raining. Is it like do rain, or is it kind of rain? Well, I want the kind of rain. I'm going to grab my split grad tool, which I just love because I'm working on a raw file. I'm going to pull it down. And now it's kind of storm. Okay, now it's like, okay, I'm going for a little walk in the rain, or Noah's Ark time. Okay, I like that. With that, and I don't know if you noticed, but there's a lot more controls over here with the split grad now in 7.1. I really like it. I'm going to open it up, and it's going to be opening up as a smart object. So to go to my basic finishing, I'm going to sit there and create a copy of the layer, Control or Command J. I'm going to right click on it. So rasterize it because Nick needs that full thumbnail to operate. Yep, I'm going to go Filter, Nick Color Effect 4, my favorite. And I'll pull it over and you'll see the basic, my basic kind of direction of the slider is a little bit different. I'll go before and after, before and after. So what am I doing? I'm taking my highlights, okay, I'm working my highlights, my midtones, and my shadows. I'm working those differently. Because what? My subject, which really kind of is outline right here, okay, that's what I want the eye to try and trace through the photograph, is what I want to accentuate in my finishing. That's how I framed it up in the viewfinder. It's how I'm going to finish it in post. With that, I'm going to go OK. It's going to do its little magic, and that's what Nick does as far as I'm concerned. It works magic. And when that comes up, then I have to do some little bit more finishing. Okay, what do I have to do? Well, I want the eye to go around here. The first thing I need to do is realize that the light falling here and here and here and here, it's all the same intensity light coming from down here. I'm not really telling you, the viewer, how to navigate through that photograph visually. So the first thing I do is I'm going to make this darker. Now I know that this is a little bit saturated. I did that in ACR, and then I did a little more in NIC. If I underexpose this some more, what's going to happen to that green? It's going to go a little neon. I don't want that. So first I'm going to do is I'm going to create a layer mask. White reveals, black conceals. Hit B for brush. I'm going to make my foreground color black. a little bit bigger, and I'm going to make this so it doesn't see anything from the tonal contrast layer. I don't want that to sit there and to become neon, because when I sit there and do the next thing, which is create a curve, okay, I'm going to bring it down one stop. I'm going to underexpose this down here one stop. So I'm going to fill this layer mask, Control Backspace, Command Delete, Control or Command I, whatever you want to do. I'm going to sit there and fill that up with black. Then hit B for brush, make it a little bit bigger. Even though I'm using my Intuos 5, I'm going to manually do this so you can see the size of the circle. I'm going to use 20% opacity, painting with white. I'm going to sit there and make this a little bit darker down here. Why? Because I don't want the eye to be stuck there. This is the thing that's in the foreground, that's closest. I don't want the eye to go there. I want it just kind of frame what's happening. So all I've done is made the bottom a tad darker. No biggie. Then this little slope here, I'm going to bring this slope a little darker so that way you can see it's a slope and see there's an actual peak in here. That shading, okay, a little shade there, a little shade over here, maybe a little there, okay. Lastly, I'm going to sit there and I want to brighten up the top up here. I want this little ridge line, this little ribbon of color brighter, so I'm going to go make another curve. Brighter. Fill that layer again, hit B for brush, make it smaller. 20% opacity because I can never hit the same target twice, so you can't really see my thumb tracks. And I'm going to sit there and go across, paint that up a little bit. And there's the before and the after. Before and the after. So it's pretty simple, very clean. I like what the D4 is doing in these kind of colors, that landscape tone curve I'm really enjoying. And then ACR 7.1, it makes it really simple to finish. So hopefully, at the very least, I inspired you to go out in the rain and make a few clicks.